good, YouTube? It's your boy Jonathan here from nolenationn843, coming to you with another week of college football in the books. We're here to the second week of college football. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about what happened last week in week one of an exciting week of college football, as well as some of the games this weekend. First of all, let's get started with the one that mattered the most to me, was Florida State at Ole Miss. First off, just going to say that, they came out really slow, with a freshman quarterback in DeAndre Francois. I thought he was just real antsy, didn't really, read his routes. It didn't help that the offensive line didn't help him out much. Couldn't get Dalvin Cook moving. But you got to give credit to Ole Miss's defense. They came out strong. It didn't help that we were dropping passes as well. Then the second half, we turned it around and really looked like the team. The biggest thing for me, I think, overall was the defense, how the secondary, as young as it is, just, at the first half didn't communicate very well or play very well. I don't know what Jimbo Fisher said, but it really turned it around in the second half. The defense dominated. Offense came out, scored 30 straight points, and got us back in the game and got the win. Not the way I wanted to see us play, but second half looked really good. Another game this weekend that was a shocker was Wisconsin beating LSU. With all the hype that LSU had coming in this year of them being a national championship team, it really was shocking to see them just struggle against Wisconsin. Wisconsin's got a really good defense, but Leonard Fournette can't do it all for LSU. Brandon Harris has got to take that next step if LSU's going anywhere. And with all the talk that Les Miles had about it being, this team was going to just air the ball out, give Leonard Fournette his carries, and then just, explosive offense. We didn't see none of that. So I was very shocked with that. Congrats to Wisconsin. They played a heck of a football game, especially on defense. That was a big shocker for me. Some of the other games, the Auburn-Clemson game, I think Auburn should have won that game. Gus Malzahn switching in three quarterbacks. I don't agree with that. They were getting a lot more ball movement when they had John Franklin in, which is what I thought from the get-go. So I think if Gus Malzahn wants to move forward from the game, he's got to, stick with one quarterback instead of using three. And it just very, I don't know, it's real, never understood why he did that. But most of all, this week was a pretty good. Houston just dominating Oklahoma, was amazing. Really like to see Tom Herman. I mean, of course, they beat Florida State in the Peach Bowl last year, like I said last week. That team's really on the rise, and I think they're a dangerous threat to make the college football playoff. But anyways, let's get on to week 2 of college football. This week, Florida State plays Charleston Southern. Just a tune-up game, getting them ready for week 3 when they go and play Louisville at a 12 o'clock kickoff. So I think it should be pretty easy. Should be seeing a lot of the backups coming in the second half. Charleston Southern's going to be down quite a bit players, so we'll just see what happens. But I think it is a short week, but I think they'll get things together and get ready for Louisville the following week. Some of the other games, Clemson's playing Troy. That game should be a blowout. Shouldn't even be close. Miami's got Florida Atlantic University. That should be a blowout as well. I guess the biggest game of the weekend will be the Virginia Tech and Tennessee game, which is at Bristol Motor Speedway. Tennessee's one of those teams that every year I think they get hyped up that they're going to be ready to compete in the SEC, and then they come out and play a crazy game like they did last week against Appalachian State and pretty much almost lose the game, which they should have lost the game, but they're going against Virginia Tech, who's coming off a victory. But I think Tennessee has to be very careful in that game. Virginia Tech's got a brand new coach. They got some pretty good players on there, pretty good defense as always. They got the same defensive coordinator, Bud Foster, there. So I think for Tennessee, they need to be careful. This is not a week to go in and play with Appalachians like they did against Appalachian State. Otherwise, they will come out with a loss. With that being said, I'm still going to pick Tennessee. I think they turn it around this week. I think they beat Virginia Tech. It's in Bristol Motor Speedway. It's in their home. It's in Tennessee. It's not in Knoxville, but I think they'll have enough. They'll have enough to take care of business and take care of Virginia Tech. there's not really much going on, like I said, other than a couple big team games coming on. Texas is back up on the top 25, which I want to talk a little bit about the top 25 this week. The incredible jumps that some of these teams had and some of the declines that some of these teams had. If we looked at the polls this past week, we saw Texas jump from not being ranked to number 11 in the country. I think it's still a little too early to rank them in the top 12. I mean, it was a big win against Notre Dame. Definitely can't take that away from them. But jumping, that's a big jump for a team that, is coming off a week 1 win over Notre Dame, and it really could have been won either way. So I think it's prematurely. I think Texas is a very good football team, but I think it's just a premature jump to a top 12 football team. Wisconsin jumping all the way to number 10 from not being ranked. That was a pretty big jump for them as well. It was a big win against LSU. I'm not taking anything away from them, but I still think it was prematurely for that as well. Some of these other teams that dropped tremendously, like Notre Dame dropped all the way down to 18. I think that was the right move. Dropping Oklahoma all the way down, I don't know if that was the right. I mean, they did get dominated, but I still think they're a top 10 football team. Houston I think Houston's that good this year, and I think they're going to prove more when they play Louisville this year as well. Some of the other teams, I don't think Clemson should have been ranked number 2 this week. They did struggle with Auburn. They were projected to, they were a 7.5 point favorite over Auburn, and they really only won by 4 or 5. So, and they really struggled in that game. And I don't know if it was the Auburn's defense or if it was just Clemson's offense is starting to get figured out. Maybe they just, the defenses are starting to pick up on it. We'll find out. I mean, I think Clemson's got still a couple more games on their schedule. It's going to be really find out where they're at. I still think Alabama is the number 1 team in the country. So yeah, a lot of crazy jumps. Some of them I don't agree with them. Some of them I do. But we'll see what happens. It's still early, and I think those rankings are just from what happened week 1. It was definitely one of the best college football weeks I've ever seen or watched. There was 7 ranked teams fell this past week, which was absolutely crazy. But anyways, that's all I got for this week. Again, check out college football this week. And like I said, Florida State should beat Charleston Southern as always. I'm picking Tennessee to take care of business and take Virginia Tech. But as always, guys, I will see y'all next week. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next week, fear the spear.